Welcome, everybody, and thank you always for joining us in another live broadcast here on YouTube and other places. We always appreciate your patronage and your kindness, your support, your
Welcome,
fellowship.
everybody, and thank you always for joining
Oh,
us in another.
sorry about that. Oh, okay. But tonight we're joined again by Tim Schwab of the God Culture, and he's got some more secrets and more insights to unveil. Tim, are you there, brother?
I am here. Good to be with you again.
It's always a pleasure and an honor. I appreciate you and all the work that you and your group do. If you would, just please give out your social media contacts where people can go to find and support your work.
Well, we, of course, started on YouTube. We have a large YouTube channel, The God Culture, THE. Make sure you put the "the" in there, though we come up even on Google, so it's pretty easy to find us. We launched recently Instagram, also TikTok, but sorry, everybody, no dancing, not happening. We have Rumble, we have Odyssey, so we have several alternative platforms for videos. We launched podcast through an international pod server that places us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, you name it. We're probably there on most of them. And then also we have a Facebook, The God Culture Space Original. And we carried that over since, of course, we have issues with Facebook from time to time. Not quite every day, but almost. We seem to get banned on, from posting on our own, platform. Imagine that. But we launched Gab and we launched Parler. So you can find our website, thegodculture.com. Our book website is ophirinstitute.com. We have 10 books published now, 9 out in print. The 10th one will be out soon, with an 11th coming not far behind that. And, basically we started with our finding that the Philippines is the ancient land of gold in all of history. And that's not speculation. That isn't guessing. We prove it in a 384-page book, Solomon's Treasure, and we support it by a 300-page source book. Now, we also provide that in the Tagalog language for Filipinos now, which is coming out in print soon, but already in ebook. All these are free in ebook. The only one that's not is Bible History Illustrated, which is free in animated video form, which is what we prefer for an illustration. We launched a coffee table book, Ophir Philippines, pretty much an abbreviated case for Solomon's Treasure, but with incredibly high resolution and, awesome photos of the Philippines and things that would amaze you. Rest, the case for Sabbath. And then we got into what is Scripture? What is the Bible? What isn't the Bible? How do we know? Who kept Scripture? How do we chart them? We covered this last time in pretty good detail. But we launched a testing. That's what we're doing. We're testing the book of Jubilees, which we published the full book, all 50 chapters of it there as well, the R.H. Charles translation, which is good as it is. It's not bad. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. But Genesis isn't perfect either. We need to look at some things and reconcile them. And just thus is life. These are documents thousands of years old. The first book of Enoch, which has been an amazing book, and Second Esdras, which also includes First Esdras. Then we launched the Apocrypha Volume 1 and Volume 2. And those are testing all, I think, 15 books of Apocrypha. And what we find is 11 of the 15 actually vet as inspired scripture. Now, we prove that in the books, and we have a series that supports each of these. Solomon's Gold series on YouTube, which has been viral worldwide for Solomon's Treasure. We have our Sabbath series and Feasts of Yahuwah series. And then we have Answers in Jubilees, a 52-week series. Answers in First Enoch, 52-week series. 26-week series for Answers in Second Esdras. And we are underway right now, well into, I think, maybe part 14 or something like that, of our Apocrypha test series as well. So there you go. You can find those books, by the way, at ophirinstitute.com, and that will lead you to the links to the free ebook. You don't have to buy anything, folks. It's okay. Our content is free. However, if you want it in print, they are high quality, and they're available on Amazon and Shopee in the Philippines, but Amazon worldwide. There you go.
A question regarding the, like First Enoch and even the apocryphal texts. Are you are you using the English translations, or are you going back and looking at older renditions if there are those available?
No,
Just
we're
wondering.
using the English, and then where we can, we'll try to go into the Dead Sea Scrolls and look
Uh-huh.
at Hebrew or Aramaic or Greek or whatever format it was in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Just earlier today, I spoke with one of my friends, and it seems that there is a Thracian edition of the Book of Enoch, which we are speaking with Bishop Guide, and hopefully he'll allow us to have access, even if it's just the book on the courses of the heavenly luminaries. But I'm interested in seeing, because I've never heard of this, and the Egyptian hieroglyphics, from what I understand, his brother and he decoded the Thracian script in 2006 and released that it was, an origin for what was the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic system, which is interesting. But
very interesting.
yeah,
The other
but
thing we do is
yeah,
we go through Scripture and we match up. Is Scripture
yeah,
First Enoch? Wait a minute, First Enoch was written before Genesis, so are we finding First Enoch and elements of it in even Genesis? And the answer is yes, we do. And this is what we cover in our introductions. We have like Jubilees is like 100 pages. Introduction. It's a Torah test where we thoroughly vet the book. Is it really inspired Scripture, or is it not? And we can prove to you that this testing comes out pretty solid, and it's hard to argue with.
yeah. I've been listening to some of the shows that you've released on, the Book of Jubilees, and looking at ancient prophecies that you are finding in, various scriptures, and you do a lot of shows and a lot of really intriguing material,
Awesome.
which I think tonight we're going to also follow up on some of the prophetic side of the second book of Esdras. And so I will turn it over to you and allow you to lead us into the lesson.
Yeah, man. Well, we got a hold of this book, Second Esdras, as we were researching. The first thing we were researching was, of course, we wanted to find Ophir, right? Which, if it wasn't in the Philippines, would have been fine with us. We've done work in Africa. We would have loved if it was in Africa. Wouldn't matter to us, though we do find it in the Philippines, which leads us to the Garden of Eden, because that is the land of gold of Genesis 2, which is Ophir. They're one and the same. There's even language in the Hebrew that connects them. But as we're going through all of that, we're looking at the pre-flood world, and we're realizing the rivers from Eden are on the bottom of the ocean floor. But what we couldn't find is there some sort of support here that the pre-flood world had a different orientation in terms of the balance of how much is water and how much is land? And we
Right.
found it in Second Esdras, and we were just blown away. Second Esdras says three times, I think it's chapter 6, verse 42 through 52, something like that. It actually says three times that the earth was 1/7 water before the flood. Well, wait a minute. That's like 15%. And today it's 70%. That's a
Right.
big difference.
Huge.
So
Yes.
it started to really get our thinking in the right place, because it says, number one, well, where's all that extra water from? Well, that's from the windows of heaven, of course. It stayed, and we have a whole world ocean that didn't exist before the flood, which is why Genesis 2 only defines 5 mega rivers. Now, they aren't rivers like we see today. Most of the rivers today wouldn't even qualify for Genesis 2 because they actually originate in rainfall. And Genesis 2:5 says that Yahuwah did not allow it to rain on the earth yet.
Right, right.
No Tigris, no Euphrates. Those come from rainfall. No Nile, no Amazon. I mean, you name a river, and many of them are going to originate from that source, which could not exist when there was no rain.
Right.
Mist came up from the earth to water.
Earth. Yes.
So we saw that, and we're just like, whoa, we were blown away by that. We were blown away by Jubilee's, Noah leaving a map of the world, really the first, not complete, but pretty good map of the entire earth. And then of course, first Enoch also blew us away, especially in geography, when he maps his route to the Garden of Eden, to the far east. All of these things are there, but second Esdras really just, it blew us away on so many levels. But when we got to chapters 11, 12, and 13, oh my goodness, the hairs on our head. I mean, I just stood straight for months and months and months. And we started devouring this stuff and realizing, oh my goodness, the prophet Ezra nailed it. He knew exactly what was going to happen over the next 2,000 plus years. Exactly. And he could not have been more specific in his prophecies. Now, he is even more specific than I'm going to cover today, but let's go into it a little. But first, I want to, can I ask a question?
Sure.
A trivia question?
Yeah, of
And
course.
We'll give away 3 books to whoever gets this answer in the live stream.
Awesome.
What animal was Daniel's 4th beast? All right, now hint, 1 was lion, number 2 was a bear, number 3 was a leopard. Yes, 2 of them had wings. But the point is, what's the 4th? What animal was that? So,
all right.
if you know the
Put your
answer.
answers in the live stream.
Okay.
And then we'll review it. And those 3 will get you to send your emails to Tim directly, and he will send out the books to you. And good luck, everybody.
Now, this serves as an introduction to where we're going, because the answer is actually not found in Daniel. Hint. There you go. So we'll leave it at that, and then whoever gets the answer first, we will send second Esdras in our apocrypha volumes 1 and volume 2. So now, second Esdras lays out this prophecy to the end of one empire. It is one continuous empire from Rome all the way to the day of judgment. What changes about it is its leadership, but it's all one body of the eagle. Now, we know that Rome is known as the eagle. That's, no mystery in history. That's a huge, everyone knows that. But we also know that, the Hasmoneans were obsessed with eagles. They put them on their coins. And the prophet Enoch actually identifies them as an eagle in his animated dream vision. So now what Ezra tells us, and we're going to show you, this is a continuation of Daniel's 4th beast. This is the 4th beast of Daniel all the way to the day of judgment. Everybody thinks, oh, well, the Roman Empire fell, and then this, 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 and we see all of this. What is happening? What is happening is exactly what we know is happening. Order out of chaos, right? I mean, it's on the back of the US dollar bill, right? Order from chaos. Basically, what they do is one leader rises and falls, another leader rises and falls, and out of this chaos becomes the order of the occult world and the whole beast system, which has been rising this entire time. It's all connected. It is not only connected in the leaders are connected to each other as a part of the same eagle body. Maybe one's a feather, maybe one's a wing, and maybe one's a head, depending on their size and their timing. However, it's all one body, and it all has one controller. And that controller exists inside of the body. That's odd, because isn't that how demons operate?
Right.
So it has a prince demon basically possessing it, even speaking in Esdras' vision. And he tells you that there are 3 major heads that sleep until the last days. Now, just so everybody knows, 2nd Esdras used to be in our 1611 King James, right? And so they translated it to English. That's a pretty big task in that age. They must have seen that it was a valuable book. However, going all the way back to the Dead Sea Scrolls, we can find 2nd Esdras especially being quoted as early as 100 BC in very specific prophecy, because they're talking about the final eagle empire and with the specifics of 2nd Esdras. But we cover that in the series. We cover it in the introductions of our books, where, again, we test this, and we're finding that 2nd Esdras is not a new creation. I know they call it apocrypha, right? And we talked about this last time. Apocrypha is a Greek word. Stop using it. It means nothing unless you understand what the English interpretation is. It means hidden away. 2nd Esdras has been hidden away. Why would we hide away Scripture? Why would we hide away anything, for that matter? If it's hidden away, shouldn't it just been taken out of the Bible completely? Now, I know the Protestants did do that, but in 1611, it was still there. And the reason is its precedent goes all the way back to the temple priest who Moses ordained to keep Scripture. So it was Bible canon, whether anyone sees it that way or not.
He saw a statue of metals representing.
Hold on, we're already at first break.
Yep. Go for it. That's fine.
Oh, actually, no. I don't know what that was. No, break won't be till the 27 minutes.
This
So,
is me. I'm wondering
going.
is whether you can see it on your screen, because I have a video that will play.
I'm sorry, say that again, Tim.
I'm going to play a quick, short video of
Sure.
Nebuchadnezzar's dream.
Okay,
And
sounds good.
so let's see if this works, because if you can see it on screen, then it'd be important, because I have some other supports I'd like to play today, if possible. If not, it's all right. I can talk to you.
Justin is live streaming
He
your
saw a
everything that you have up. So
I do see him. Yeah, I see my screen on the live stream, so that's good. So,
yes.
all right, let's check this out. This is a video we created, so it's our video, but where we're teaching and catching everybody up. Okay, let's go back first to Daniel, right? What did Daniel say is the makeup of the final empire, right? So let's do this. Let's see if it plays.
He saw a statue of metals representing the current and coming empire, which would lead to world empire in the enlarging of Japheth. First, it had a head of gold, and that represents the gold kingdom of Babylon. We don't have to guess, because Daniel says it was. The coming empire, Daniel could also see rising the breasts and arms of silver for Medo-Persia, who conquered Babylon and was known for its silver. The belly and thighs were of brass, and this is Greece, known for brass alloys, who conquered Medo-Persia. And finally, then came the legs of iron, the Roman Empire, the Iron Legion, who conquered Greece. There was no gap between these, and these are clear cut. But this last one, his feet, are a mixture of iron, Rome, and clay. And there has been much written about this, but Daniel clarifies it himself. We'll cover that next, but can you see a pattern here based on the mapping of Jubilees? All of these areas are from Japheth, and we know the principalities involved. Babylon is Media with demon prince of Persia, Ashmedai. Medo-Persia is the same, yes, both sides. Greece is Javan under the prince of Grecia, and the Roman Empire is Tubal, the source of Prince Gog's power, along with the final empire as well. This is all Japheth's territory. But we know the princes of darkness who really drive this empire. And ultimately, though names change, this is the world empire, further predicted by the prophets and in Revelation. So Daniel effectively identifies the rising of the one world empire.
Awesome.
So were you able to see that on screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was watching chat.
It's okay.
I'm not. I see the statue and the image of the statue. I'm not sure if the video played. Those of you that are in chat, if you would, can you reply to Tim? And if you were able to see the video, if you'll let us know. But I was holding in the chat room the correct as far as the answers. Shay, the people that, and there were a number of people, but Shay Cheney was the first. Rich G, Hebrew Hawaiian, and SGT Stadenko. If you guys and gals, ladies, will reach out to Tim, and Tim, where can they email you and contact you with their address?
So just
And
email
just
us at thegodculture@gmail.com, and we'll send you copies. It takes Amazon a couple weeks, but usually, not always. Sometimes they're quicker, but they'll get it out to you. Just give us your
excellent
mailing address and your cell phone number for delivery.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. And the reply from chat is yes, that the video was on and was visible. And so
That's awesome. Glad to hear
yes.
it. Okay, so I'm new to this sharing on Skype. I've done it on Zoom, but I'm glad to hear it finally worked.
Yes.
So anyway, okay, so let's talk first before we go into Second Esdras. Let's talk about Daniel's last empire here. Understand that he's not actually identifying a different empire, which is why he only gives 4 beasts. And his 4th beast, Ezra says, is going to last till the end. So from the age, and by the way, he wrote in 400 BC, so he knew this. He saw this in prophecy before there was a Roman Empire. So basically, Daniel tells us, though, something very, very interesting here, and it's going to match Second Esdras. So this is awesome. He says in Daniel 2:41 through 43, we've seen a lot of speculation on this, but Daniel tells us exactly what these feet that are mixed with miry clay and iron, what it is, okay? And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. What was that? That was Rome, right? The legs of iron were Rome. So Rome's a part of it. It's still Rome. The Roman Empire never fell, according to Daniel, and also according to Ezra. So both are going to agree on this wholeheartedly. And that's why, again, Daniel only has 4 beasts, yet there's 5 parts of this statue. Why? Because part 5 is part of 4, right? It's just something happened that changed it. What happened? Well, here's Daniel's going to predict that. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, there you go. He's going to tell you exactly what it is. Don't need a, preacher to get up and try to, speculate. Daniel tells us. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Okay, so there'll be some chaos. Going to sound exactly like Second Esdras Eagle. You'll see. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, well, this is huge, they, whoever they are, shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Wait a minute. How do you mingle your seed with the seed of men, well, it means you're not man, right?
Right.
You're not
Absolutely.
mankind. So something is happening here, according to Daniel, that Ezra also picks up on. And Ezra's going to give us a basic date as to when that happened. It already happened. Something changed in Rome, where even the seat of power was moved from one continent to the other. Wow. And at the same time, that same administration that declared a new Rome is also going to declare a new state religion, the origin of what we call the Catholic Church.
Uh-huh.
So we'll get to that. So they
Yeah.
shall cleave to one another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the King of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. Of course, Yahusha is going to destroy the statue. In Second Ezra says the same thing. He will consume the final eagle with fire from his mouth, the sword of fire from his mouth, which also matches Revelation. You will find Second Esdras, the prophecies there are the origin of much of Revelation. And the whole time you're reading it, you're going to be like, dude, I mean, I've read this before, but I've read it in Revelation. But wait a minute, it was written 200 years before Revelation was. Thus,
Hold on, Tim. Hold on. With that thought, we're at break. We'll be right back, everybody, and we'll pick it up from there.
sounds good.
As a bookstore for truth seekers, it's our goal to make ancient manuscripts which were once held captive by secretive institutions available for public consideration. In our generation, where wisdom has increased as Daniel the prophet foretold, we have access to many of the testimonies our early church brethren were persecuted for preserving. After being hidden for centuries, these manuscripts have been leaked from various sources throughout the earth, and it's our goal to gather these sources into printable form to make available for all who seek the ancient way. If you're looking to deepen your studies of the biblical narrative, find these ancient manuscripts and more at sacredwordpublishing.com. Your partnership with Sacred Word Publishing goes further than the publishing of ancient manuscripts and weekly video content.
You also make a huge impact across the earth in orphanages in Myanmar, India, Uganda, and Kenya.
Your support is crucial for the development of the ecclesia of real truth seekers.
We thank you for joining us in hosting Secrets Revealed, Momentary Zen, the Digital Readers Club, Ask Me Anything series, and other shows that have helped lead so many to the truth of salvation.
To become even more involved, please visit patreon.com/sacredwordpublishing, where you can partake in exclusive, interactive, patron-only content and help us continue shining the light of love in this darkened world.
if he could even know more as far as the timing, especially. And he was told, no, seal it up. That's not until for the end. Well, we're there, folks. It's time to know these things. It's time to unlock Daniel. And what unlocks Daniel? Second Esdras does, which they have censored and said isn't scripture. But Messiah quoted it in Matthew 22:37 directly and specifically. According to the 1611 KJV, who anchors Second Esdras 130 to the margin note of that particular quote. How about that? And it is a direct quote. Therefore, Yahusha quoted Second Esdras. Why aren't we? Therefore, now I declare it unto you. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. This is important. It's going to be even bigger than the Roman Empire. It's going to be even bigger than the Greek Empire. It's going to be even bigger than any empire in all of history as far as these leaders in the Bible. I know some will say, oh, but China had a... Stop it. The Bible doesn't mention China in this regard whatsoever. It's not focused on that part of the world, and that has nothing to do with this other than China will become involved in other ways. We'll get there. So behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon the earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. In the same shall 12 kings reign, and one after the other. Now, there's a lot of data in here, just like the 10, horns of the beast, and in Revelation 13. And you could just spend so much time speculating on that, and people will argue back and forth, and it just creates so much debate. We're going to stay away from that because Ezra is going to define the end of this empire, and we're there now. And this is what's important because he's going to define this timeline. And we'll see where we are in history according to Ezra, and we'll see what's about to happen. And this is amazing. So he breaks it down into, of all the eagle here, it's going to have 3 heads. And the 3 heads are the final rulers and the largest empire among them, and we'll see. Then I saw a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle. This is the beginning. 2nd Esdras 11, 1 through 4 here. An eagle, which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. It's the 3 heads that we're going to focus on in this video. We could spend forever trying to figure out what the 12 feathered wings are. It could be many things. The point is, those 12 feathered wings are governments, they're nations. The 3 heads are empires, really, but larger governments or nations. And they're all a part of the same body. See, we're watching this same thing happen over and over. And we see in a thesis, antithesis, right? World War I. Well, both sides were funded by the same people.
Right.
Now, how does that work? Because if you're a banker, shouldn't you be choosing what is right to fund? But both sides?
Oh.
I mean, if you're Ford... why are you making tanks for the Nazis?
Right.
Right? I mean, there's a lot of that going on. And the reason is because it's all a part of the same eagle body. And by the way, we see this eagle in symbology everywhere. Yeah, we see it in the U.S., but we see it throughout Europe. The powers of Europe have been obsessed with an eagle. Oh, wait a minute. Not just a single-headed eagle, a 2-headed and 3-headed eagle even.
Right.
Where's it come from? It comes from the prophecies of 2nd Esdras. They are actually declaring that they are part of that eagle body.
Right.
Verse 2, and I saw and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth, understand, and all the winds of the air blew on her and were gathered together. And I beheld, and out of her feathers there grew other contrary feathers. What's a contrary feather? It's an antithesis, right? Thesis, antithesis. In other words, even what we think are enemies, like Russia or China, are still a part of the same eagle body. We're watching a puppet show because it's all controlled by the same prince demon from within the eagle body, says the prophet Ezra, not me. And they became little feathers, and small, but her heads were at rest. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're way back in the time of Rome here, guys. We're back in the time of Rome, and the heads are already alive. They're already a part of the construct and at rest. They're being hidden. See, there are hidden powers that rise. The head in the middle was greater than the other. So you have three heads, the one in the middle, large, that is, but yet,
Keep going.
yet it rested with the rest. Okay, so this is huge. The head in the center will be the largest empire in all of history. And that's easy to identify, and we'll get there. So it's one body, one empire, multiple powers. Three heads hide their power, sleeping to the end. Boy, Ezra was quite the conspiracy theorist, right? No, this is prophecy. This is fact. Contrary feathers are the same body as the rest. Moreover, I beheld, and lo, the eagle flew with her feathers and rained upon the earth, and over them that dwelt therein. And I saw that all things under heaven were subject unto her, and no man spoke against her, not one creature upon earth. Now think about that. Her power is hidden, but no one speaks against her because they don't know who's really behind it all. Ezra told us who is. And I behold, and lo, the eagle rose up her talons. So now it's her talons, but still part of the body. And spoke to her feathers. From where? From within. And it'll say that soon. Saying, this is Gog of Magog speaking. Watch not all at once. Sleep, everyone in his own place. In other words, hide yourselves. Do not reveal your power until your time. And watch by course. So he is directing these powers, but these powers, these governments, these nations, these empires, all one eagle body. But let the heads be preserved for the last. So you're going to have a lot of chaos. You know, things are going to happen. Rise, fall, rise, fall, rise, fall, rise, fall. All of the rising, all of the falling are all the same eagle body, even when it seems like it's not. So the voice from within is Prince Demon, Gog of Magog. How do we know that? Because he is the demon in the last days that controls the war and the powers. Is Satan ultimately in control? Of course he is. This is his number 2, but it is specifically Gog of Magog speaking. Do not rule at once, hide power, heads are hidden until the end. This is crucial because we've seen 2 of these heads rise already. How about that? So if we go to chapter 12, verse 18, this is interpretation there from the angel, that after the time of that kingdom there shall arise great strivings, and it shall stand in peril of falling. Boy, that sounds like Revelation, doesn't it? The beast will, yeah. Nevertheless, it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to his beginning. Now, they claim that the Roman Empire fell. The Roman Empire did not fall. It became something else.
Right.
324 AD under Constantine the Great. Constantine moved the capital from Rome to where the seat of Satan is, Turkey, to another continent, and declared a religion as the state religion, which is not a biblical religion at all. Catholicism has nothing to do with the Bible. It is Mithraism and other occult worship all wrapped up in one. Easy to prove, by the way, if you test it. Nevertheless, it shall not then fall, right? So it's going to be restored again. And under Constantine it was. So this came to pass, right? This is what Daniel was talking about. This is that mixture with miry clay and Rome. Wait a minute. Who was Constantine? I'll just do a little dialogue here. I'm not going to prove it because there's not necessarily documents that prove all of this connection, but we believe here's the connection. Constantine was a Flavian, right? Wait a minute. The Flavian dynasty were the emperors of Rome in the time of Josephus. Josephus was taken captive. Josephus was a Pharisee, an Essene, and a Hasmonean, all in his own autobiography. He says so. So nobody can argue with it. He said so. He admits it. And he was taken captive because he tried to, well, I'm sorry. He told his troops to commit suicide, and they all did, but oops, he forgot. It didn't happen. So he was taken captive alone, and he was taken into Rome, into the house of the Flavian dynasty, basically. There, he prophesies that, Titus, I guess, is going to be the next emperor, whoever, and it comes true. So they actually end up adopting him into their household. So what do you have now? You have an adopted Flavian who is not actually a Flavian. And that's why his name became Flavius Josephus. But he was a Pharisee in Rome. Now, here's what's interesting. If you follow through the track, all of a sudden you have this rising of this emperor of sort, Constantius, Flavius Constantius, Constantine's father. But he's a Flavian, but history well records he doesn't have the bloodline of the Flavians. So how is it that he's a Flavian and can declare emperor, and yet he doesn't have the blood? He's from Josephus. He's a Pharisee. This was a mixture of the Pharisees into the Roman Empire. Constantine was a high priest of Mithraism, which is Phariseeism largely. And, so he was really installing his own religion. He was never a Christian until his dying day, supposedly. On his deathbed, he converted. Well, what does that mean? That means the entire time he was instituting, as a high priest of his own religion there, Mithraism, he was instituting Mithraism, not what we call Christianity, not the Bible anyway.
Right.
So let's continue. So, and whereas you saw the 8 small under feathers sticking to her wings, this is the interpretation, that in him there shall arise 8 kings whose time shall be but small and their years swift. So you've got kingdoms that rise within. Now, we're not going to cover those because it gets really sticky and there could be major debate on each of those. Someone hopefully someday will figure it all out. That'd be great. But Constantine, the not so great, is the key here. He moved the Roman seat to Turkey, and he fulfilled Esdras' prophecy. Okay, so let's follow through. So that's the new Rome. That's what he called it, and that is the Eagle Empire still. It didn't change. It was still the Roman Empire. It's just the new Rome, and this was the key. So 324, and a new religion was declared a state religion now as a result, which is why it, even to the very end. This was Daniel's prophecy come to pass. So then 2nd Esdras 11, 10 through 12. And I beheld, and lo, the voice went not out of her heads, but from the middle of her body. See, the voice is a demon. It's the prince demon, Gog of Magog. That's who possesses a body. That's who would be in the middle of a body. You don't have a mouth in the middle of your body. An eagle certainly doesn't. So it doesn't make sense, except for this was the demon who controls it all, which is very clear in Ezekiel 38 and 39. And I numbered her contrary feathers. See, contrary, meaning antithesis. And behold, there were 8 of them. And I looked, and behold, on the right side, there arose one feather and reigned over all the earth. Now, in our Gog of Magog series, part 3, we actually do a time map that goes through time and shows the progression of war on earth. And you can see that it's concentrated in West and Central Europe, where the seat of Gog of Magog is throughout history up until our time. It's amazing how bloody it is. But both sides of the wars are still the same eagle body, thesis, antithesis.
War is like a blood sacrifice to their,
Absolutely.
They worship the devils.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's so true. And, you look at it and it's so nonsensical when you think about, even when they dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I mean, they were already in talks with Japan at that point.
Right.
Granted, I get the point that they wanted to just have it their way, so they dropped it anyway. But that's pretty evil, no matter how you think about it. And it
Right.
absolutely was. It was a blood sacrifice. That's what it was.
Yes. Yes.
So
All the
yeah.
symbology that they wear on their uniforms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
including the eagle.
Yes. Exactly.
Which you see all the time. I mean, in their household seals, but also even, look at Germany, that they had an eagle. It's not just Rome. The eagle has continued throughout history, and of course, the U.S. today. Why the U.S.? Is it part of the eagle body? I'll get there in a minute. Now, so the next following stood up and reigned and had a great time. Now, this is a key. So 324, you had Constantine. That was a change of the Roman Empire. Now you're going to have the next shift in power. It's still the same eagle body. This one, it will have a great time. In other words, the longest time, and it will explain this. And there's a voice unto it as well that says, "Hear you that is born rule over the earth so long. This I say unto you before you begin to appear no more." So it's going to disappear just as the other heads and wings and feathers and etc. The heads haven't risen yet. There shall none after you attain your time. This is a key. This means it's the longest lasting empire. Neither unto the half thereof. Do you know Ezra nailed that? Ezra nailed that. This is only one possibility. The longest lasting empire is the Byzantine Empire. It lasted over 1,000 years. It is true, in fact, that no empire has lasted more than half of it. How about that? Now, the Byzantine Empire lasted from 395 to 1453, and another power rose in 1453. We'll get there, and it will be the great head, the largest head, the one in the center. So we have 1,058 years here, and even that great head and the ones after, none of them will have 529 years. So we know that. So we also know the final empire is limited. It will be less than 529 years. Now, there are prophecies that lead to a much more direct, idea of the end, but still, that's true. So it did not hide the eagle. I mean, you can see on screen, the two-headed eagle was the emblem of the Byzantine Empire. Imagine that. Oh, wait a minute. And there's really a third head there, too. It's just invisible. How about that? Why is it invisible? Because it's hiding its power. And it's about to rise at the end of the Byzantine Empire. So you go all the way through and you have this progression, well identified by Ezra. You really cannot debate that the longest empire is the Byzantine Empire. There's really nothing to talk about because it has to be within that paradigm, of course. He's talking about as, basically Rome. And so this is very clear so far. Now, let me know when you're getting close to the break, and I'll cut off whenever you're ready. Then arose the third.
We got 6 minutes, so.
Okay. And reigned as the other before, and appeared no more also. Okay. So another power rose and fell. So it went with all the rest, one after the other. And this is just telling you several rise, several fall. They appear no more. They appear no more. They appear no more. What does that mean? On the world stage, they're no longer a power. They're no longer a superpower. Anyway, it doesn't mean they're not a country. It doesn't mean that it's no longer inhabited. Of course it is. But it's not a power, not a part of the great eagle. For some of them were set up, but ruled not. So some of them are powers that never ruled, regions or whatever. Governments rise and fall, but all of them are the same eagle body. That's the key. After this I looked, and behold, the 12 feathers appeared no more, nor the 2 little feathers. And there was no more upon the eagle's body. So the feathers are gone, but 3 heads that rested. See, they were told to rest to the end, and now we're going to get to the real meat of all of this. And 6 little wings. So there are other governments, but they're not as large. Then saw I also that 2 little feathers divided themselves from the 6 and remained under the head. So what is this? This will be the greatest head, and it will control 2 powers. It will conquer 2 powers, even in its infancy. That was upon the right side, for the 4 continued in their place. So the others are still there too. So 3 heads, still hidden, but about to rise, one of them. The head was above them, meaning it's larger, okay, has more control, more power, even though it's hidden, and it's funding wars, see? And that was the case all along. In fact, even mercenaries were provided to Austria, the Hessen mercenaries, and provided to different. In fact, even you look at like the War of 1812, the British didn't really fight that so much. They mostly used mercenaries to come to the U.S. and fight it. So, and when they so thought, behold, there awakened one of the heads that were at rest, namely, it that was in the middle, for that was greater than the other 2 heads. In fact, it'll be the largest empire ever in all of history, factual and easy to find. And then I saw that the other 2 heads were joined with it, and behold, the head was turned with them that were with it, and it did eat up the 2 feathers under the wing that would have reigned. So it conquered 2 powers at the time that it rose, or at least at some point in its infancy. So the first eagle head rises, and it's the largest in history. The same year that the Byzantine Empire fell in 1453. That is the British Empire. It became a known power at war with France in 1453. How about that?
Interesting.
It didn't necessarily win the war, but that doesn't matter. The point is it became a military power, and it certainly rose in the world scene. And guess what? Mm-hmm. At one point, the British Empire controlled 25% of the earth. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't realize that. It is something that you just, I mean, how did Ezra know that? How could he possibly go there? So again, 23% of the world population, 25% of world landmass was controlled by the British Empire at one time. To this day,
isn't the Queen even now in ruling over a lot of that land? Even all these provinces and commonwealths that like Australia and Canada and
yes.
So those are.
She still has power, and most of all, she still has land rights.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know even the Treaty of Paris of 1783 declares that the king retained his land rights in the U.S. He never gave those up.
Yes.
Those weren't independent.
Right.
They may be government-wise, but they still belong to the king.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, all of the signers who signed that document signed with their British lordship titles. How about that?
Very interesting. 30 seconds out.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So this is amazing. I mean, who would have thought that Ezra would have foreseen the largest empire? He calls it the largest eagle head. And here you have it right here.
I have a question, too. When we come back from break, I'll read a portion of an article, and it's talking about the word America in Peruvian, and it connects it to the land of the feathered serpent. Yeah, I knew you were going.
I have a slide on that. Thanks to Tom Horn. I have a slide on that. We'll get there.
Okay. Also, Justin told me to let you know that his streaming software had crashed, and so it's not streaming your screen right now. It had up until the very.
Should I try to?
You can try to do it again, and then we'll see.
All right, I'll try that during the break. No problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Good.
Great. Thank you, son.
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, and yes, we are at break, everybody. So we'll be right back, and then Tim, you cover whatever you want to, and then at some point I'll just read that little portion of that article. But we'll be right back for second hour, everyone.
Sounds good.
As a bookstore for truth seekers, it's our goal to make ancient manuscripts which were once held captive by secretive institutions available for public consideration. In our generation, where wisdom has increased as Daniel the prophet foretold, we have access to many of the testimonies our early church brethren were persecuted for preserving. After being hidden for centuries, these manuscripts have been leaked from various sources throughout the earth, and it's our goal to gather these sources into printable form to make available for all who seek the ancient way. If you're looking to deepen your studies of the biblical narrative, find these ancient manuscripts and more at sacredwordpublishing.com. Your partnership with Sacred Word Publishing goes further than the publishing of ancient manuscripts and weekly video content.
You also make a huge impact across the earth in orphanages in Myanmar, India, Uganda, and Kenya.
Your support is crucial for the development of the ecclesia of real truth seekers.
We thank you for joining us in hosting Secrets Revealed, Momentary Zen, the Digital Readers Club, Ask Me Anything series, and other shows that have helped lead so many to the truth of salvation.
To become even more involved, please visit patreon.com/sacredwordpublishing, where you can partake in exclusive, interactive, patron-only content and help us continue shining the light of love in this darkened world.
All right, welcome back, everybody, for a second hour, and turn it back over to you, Tim, so you can go ahead and cover what you wanted, and we'll lead into this other article at some point.
Okay, so we also know about the British Empire. They had the 100 Years' War, and the ending of that war was 1453. That's a key date because that's also when the middle head awakens, because that's the end of the Byzantine Empire the same year, which would be consistent with the rest of prophecy, where not a year lapses in between. Think about it.
Awesome.
Now, they conquered Wales and Scotland during this time. So Wales and Scotland, or soon after, Wales and Scotland are probably, and again, it's speculation, I don't know 100%, but Wales and Scotland are likely those two feathers that attach to the head, right? And were eaten by the head.
It would make sense.
Yeah. Okay, so chapter 11:32. But this head put the whole earth in fear. Indeed, it did. 25% was controlled by it, and the rest was aware, no doubt. And bear rule in it over all those that dwelt upon the earth with much oppression. Yes, the British Empire was pretty darn evil. And it had the governance of the world more than all the wings that had been. Yes, 25% of the entire earth. Again, Ezra just keeps saying this different ways to identify really what you can't really miss. And after this I beheld, and lo, the head that was in the midst suddenly appeared no more, like as the wings. Okay, so wait a minute. So you have the largest empire in all of history just disappears from the world scene. Now, it doesn't mean it goes away. We still have Great Britain, right? So how
Right.
does this work? Well, we put together one of the most amazing videos. It's going to take about 5 minutes, but bear with me on this, guys, because this is going to just blow you away. Are you ready for it?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's follow the rise and fall of the British Empire. We will begin to map this in 1707, where the empire really begins its full ascent, though it really began in 1453. The Acts of Union unite the kingdoms of England and Scotland under one rule, the United Kingdom. By then, the kingdom already has several colonies along the coasts of North America. As the years go by, settlements in North America increase as Britain moves westward. In 1757, the East India Company conquers Bengal, igniting Britain's advance into South Asia. Colonies in North America expand as the British Empire claimed victory over France in the 7 Years' War. Watch for the red as the expansion of God is underway. In the year 1783, the United States achieves victory in the American Revolutionary War, gaining independence from Britain, or so we're told. People from all continents begin falling to the empire as Britain achieves worldwide status as a superpower. Watch for the red as it continues to grow all over the world, spreading its seed to the final empire. You are seeing prophecy unfold before your eyes. The Constitution Act of 1867 formally unites all British colonies in Northern America into the Dominion of Canada. Again, watch for the red. Several European powers participate in the scramble for Africa, resulting in a major expansion for the British Empire. By World War I, Britain is established as a multi-continental empire with a population of over 400 million people. Wow. Following their victory in World War I, Britain acquires land from the former German colonies in Africa. From the Ottoman Empire, Britain takes control over Palestine, Jordan, Iraq, and Qatar, connecting their land in Africa to Asia. German New Guinea also fell under rulership of Britain, with its mainland territories being mandated under Australia. Following the Irish Revolution, we'll start to see the decline. Ireland is officially granted independence from the United Kingdom. In 1931, the Statute of Westminster is adopted in Canada and South Africa, giving them self-governance over their land. The following year, the Kingdom of Iraq is granted independence from the British Empire. In 1942, midway through World War II, Australia fully applies the Statute of Westminster, gaining self-governance. As a result of World War II, Britain officially receives land from the former Italian colonies of Somalia and Libya. Occupation zones are also set by the Allies, with Britain occupying parts of Germany and Austria. Over time, several colonies begin leaving and declaring independence as colonization starts coming to a close. This, my friends, is the final empire. Its big head rise and fall. The occupation zones in Germany are brought together, and West Germany is established in 1941. Decolonization becomes rapid in the mid-20th century, with nations being formed across the entire globe. Watch the red as it's now receding to virtually nothing. There it goes, right before our eyes. Esdras' prophecy comes to life. Then the final nail. On the 1st of July, 1997, the United Kingdom hand over Hong Kong to China was the mark of the end of the British Empire. Ladies and gentlemen, Ezra was accurate.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Oh,
basically,
also, just so
Go
you know, Tim, when you play the video, I
Yeah.
think you have to go on the share that particular screen in order for it to show.
oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
If I can figure out how to do that. So you didn't see the video?
No, it's on answers in Esdras.
Yeah.
That's the screen that we had.
Well, if you anybody that wants to see the video, you can go to Answers in Second Esdras and watch. I think it's part 4, the great head, the big head.
We'll put a link to it in the description as well.
So anyway, that was when you look at the criteria is all there. The largest empire awakens at the same time that the Byzantine, the longest lasting, falls, 1453. It actually lasted less than 529 years, which is half, which is what Ezra said would happen. It rises closer to the end, as Ezra said, in progression, as Ezra said. It rises from West Central Europe, as Ezra really nails down. It's the advance of Gog of Magog's prophecy. That's what all of this is, and that's what it leads to. We know this because at the end, that is the demonic power that is the problem. It eats 2 feathers, Wales and Scotland. It disappears from world power technically in 1952. And Ezra has one more thing to say about this that really nails this down. And whereas you saw that the great head appeared no more, this is 2 Ezra 12, 26 to 28. It signifies that one of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain. So the leader of Great Britain, a leader that really marks the end of the British Empire, doesn't matter what historians say, Ezra knows better, and Ezra is accurate. For the 2 that remain shall be slain with the sword. For the sword of the one shall devour the other. Those are the other 2 heads, right? So there's 3 heads. We know that the great head disappears. And even the other 2, they're now going to rise, but one of them will swallow the other. And the last one will then fall through the sword himself. Why? Because Yahusha is going to consume that one. This is how close we are to the end. We're in the final eagle heads. So
Wow.
Great Britain disappeared, really officially, according to Ezra. Again, this is his prophecy. So this is by his criteria. Who cares what any historian says? It doesn't matter. Ezra says that the king dies on his deathbed, and a painful death. And guess what? In 1952, King George VI actually died on his deathbed. He had lung surgery. He lost the bout with lung cancer, and he died of a blood clot in an artery, which stopped his heart, of course. Incredibly. Now, he died in his sleep, so peaceful. No, I'm sorry. That is an incredibly painful death. And leading up to it, the surgery, which wasn't successful ultimately, and lung cancer. I mean, that's some major pain. This guy fits.
Mm-hmm.
But wait a minute. So 1952, if that is the official end, according to Second Esdras, where are we? That's right after World War II. And right after World War II, another power was set up on the earth. Today we call it the only superpower. And it was set up by British bankers even. Could that be the second eagle head?
Mm.
When you look at Gog of Magog and the British Empire, and you map it out, you can find that the synergy is there. The Gog of Magog is the British Empire. He controlled it. When you look at its establishment of Palestine or modern Israel, 100% of the powers that came in, the people that migrated in the mass aliyah from 1948 to 1952, we covered this last time, Gog of Magog. But they fail Isaiah by 70+%. 14 out of 18 areas are not in Isaiah. That's a big problem. So what are we seeing? Well, we're seeing prophecy being fulfilled, but not a good one. This is a negative prophecy. This is Gog of Magog. So let's go to 2 Esdras 12, 21, and 22. And 2 of them shall perish, the middle time approaching. 4 shall be kept until their ends begin to approach, but 2 shall be kept unto the end. And whereas you saw 3 heads rising, this is the interpretation. In his days, again, this is going to be about the 3 heads. We're going to focus on the 3 heads. In his last days shall the Most High raise up 3 kingdoms. So the heads are kingdoms, we know that. And renew many things therein, and they shall have the dominion of the earth. And indeed, Great Britain certainly did. The British Empire, 25% of it. That's huge. Can you imagine how much influence they had on the entire earth if they controlled 25% of it? Wow. And of those that dwell therein with much oppression. Indeed, that's the Brits, no doubt. Above all those that were before them. Therefore, are they called the heads of the eagle? Okay. For these are they that shall accomplish his wickedness. He allows this, right? This is prophecy unfolding per Ezra, but Yahuwah allows evil.
Absolutely.
All things work together for the good for those who love him, right? We know that, but that means evil too, and evil happens. A lot of people say, oh, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, number one, Romans 3:23 says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of Elohim. Hello, there are no good people. None. Yahushua was the only one. He's the only sinless man. And that shall finish his last end. So notice, these last 2, the very end. These are the last 2 heads now we're progressing into. This is the final world empire, period, the end. That's how close we are. Now, that's not right on our heels. We're not in the tribulation right now, but we're not that far away, especially not when you look at all of time. So again, same prince demon, same eagle body. These are all the same. In fact, these heads are even attached. Well, yeah. Britain is attached to the next power. The next power set up as a superpower in 1952 by the British bankers by, the first head. Because of the petrodollar, the U.S. became a superpower very quickly after World War II. The petrodollar propped up the entire economy of the U.S., where countries could not purchase oil from OPEC nations largely unless they converted their currency, not to gold. They wouldn't even take gold. You had to convert your currency to U.S. dollars. That's it. That is a guaranteed empire, and it was set up. It was manufactured. It was done that way on purpose. Why? Because the U.S. is the second eagle head. Britain transfers its power to the U.S. and to this day is still very involved. I'm not talking about the British government. I'm talking about the British bankers. Follow the money. The love of money is the root of all evil. And who controls the Federal Reserve?
Yes, right.
Last I checked, that'd be the Rothschilds.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's still true. So we have a video out there that'll blow you away, and I'll get into it just a little bit here. But will America disappear? right? Good. The first eagle disappeared, right? From the world stage. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean it's going to be flooded or any of those things. That's not Bible. That's not Bible prophecy, not for America. However, it is the second head, and it will suffer a fate, unfortunately. I hate to say that. I wish I couldn't. So how much time do we have?
It's 10:18, so 9 minutes.
Okay, 9 minutes. I have enough time to play this, and we can go into the break. How about that?
All right, and let's try to select the screen that has the video on it.
You know what?
All right.
Why don't we skip it? Why don't we skip it? Because I don't think I can.
Okay.
We'll skip it. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So let's talk about America. I mean, one of the things in the video, we have a clip from Eisenhower, I believe, talking about the military-industrial complex, warning, by the way, about the same time in history, he's warning that America's been taken over by basically bankers who also are defense contractors.
Right.
Which are really one and the same. And so this military-industrial complex has an evil bent to it, always has had, and it's always been. I mean, even Ford had a newspaper that ran articles on. It exposed the international Jew. It's not about Jews. It's not about any race. It's about a cult, really, of 1666, which all goes back to America's first purpose. Because here you go. Do you see this on your screen?
Yes, the serpent.
Yeah. So go ahead and share your article. I think it's a good time.
Okay. What I was going to read from is an article called "Welcome to America, the Land of the Serpent Gods."
That's right.
And it says this in his book, "The New World Order: The Ancient Plan of Secret Societies." William T. Still shows that America was called initially the land of the plumed or feathered serpents by the Indians of Peru. James Pierce researched an article written in the Theosophical Society magazine entitled Lucifer, which gave insight into the word America. He says that the chief god of the Mayan Indians in Central America was Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan, which both mean plumed serpent or feathered serpent. In Peru, this god was called Amaru, and the territory known as Amaruca. Pierce states, America is literally translated land of the plumed serpents.
So wait a minute. You mean
go
George
ahead,
was actually pronouncing it right?
Right.
That's about how he said it, America.
America, yes. He claims that the name of America was derived from Amaruca instead of after the explorer Amerigo Vespucci. This further proves that serpent worship was common throughout all cultures. Last paragraph here. In the most prevalent versions of American history, the origin of the name America is attributed to the Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci, but this popular distortion of the true origin of the native America may be finally gaining more credibility among scholars to restore the name America to its rightful place. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, well, you're right, and funny that a lot of those same things we found, the land of the plumed serpent. This is really the origin of the name America, because Amerigo. First of all, that doesn't lead to America. Come on, we speak the language. Why would you change it? That doesn't even make any sense. And that explorer was not that significant. He didn't discover America, so there's no reason why it would be named after him. Also, did you know that the last Inca leader was executed? And his name was Tupac. Oh, no, not that one. Tupac Amaru, 1572. And that means shining serpent. How about that?
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
And I think Tom Horn was right. I think this is one thing he nailed. This is the true origin of the name America and the Americas. Even Sir Francis Bacon wrote a book called The New Atlantis, and that was his his declaration is that America was the new Atlantis. Well, what was Atlantis? Atlantis was an empire ruled by 10 giant kings, the sons of Poseidon, a fallen angel, Nephilim. It's a Nephilim kingdom that was known for war and was ruining the earth. Wait a minute, that's what America's purpose is? According to Freemasonry, Sir Francis Bacon, yes, that was America's purpose. And that's why its military is being used all over the world.
Right.
You look, even today, right? You see there are 3 places on all of Earth, that are actually not part of the world. They are independent.
Right.
Only 3. One is in the Great Head in London. There is I think it's 5 square mile radius. It's called, the town of London, basically, I believe. And it is a separate entity, a separate government, completely independent of Britain. And it's controlled by the Rothschilds, of course. The second, and that's the first eagle head. The second is the second eagle head. It's called Washington, D.C. That's why you see, no representation without, or no taxation without representation. They have on their license plate in D.C. People that live in D.C. don't like the fact that they don't have anybody in Congress. Why don't they have anybody in Congress? Because they're not part of this country. They're not actually part of the U.S. It is a separate legal entity, independent of the U.S. And yet that's what controls the U.S.
Right.
Really? So is the Federal Reserve, an offshore bank.
Exactly.
Same thing. Okay, so that's the second eagle head. Now, what happens to the second eagle head? And here is the sad part. It gets devoured from within. Ooh. That's what Esdras says. Mm-hmm. So he says, after this I beheld, and lo, the head that was in the midst suddenly appeared no more. That's the middle head, the great head, like as the wings. But there remained 2 heads, which also in like sort ruled upon the earth, and over those that dwell therein. Go look up military bases of the U.S., and you're looking at 80% of the earth has a military presence. It's huge. It's not the same as the British Empire, and it's not as large as the British Empire. Agreed. And Ezra said it wouldn't be. That's okay. But it does have influence in all of those nations. Okay, so ruled upon the earth, over those dwelled within, and I beheld, and lo, the head upon the right side devoured it that was upon the left side. That's the U.S. was on the left side. That's the second eagle head. It's now devoured from within by the final eagle empire, which will be the one world empire.
Mm-hmm. We got just a minute and 30.
Okay. When you look at the Book of Jubilees, did you know that it maps a line right through the U.S. on the 37th parallel, which is the exact split between the North and the South? Noah did that. This nation was never supposed to be united. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Ouch. Now,
wow.
I'm just saying that's what it says. And then, so after the break, we'll lead into the final world empire. But
all right, sounds good. We'll be right back, everybody. And if you have any questions for final segment, just put them again in caps in the chat, and we'll get to it. And also near the end, we'll get Tim to give out all his social media so you can go and support his incredible work and all his revelations. We'll be right back for final segment.
If you don't sow, you don't reap. You don't even have a chance So if you looked at your game plan tomorrow, you might come to the quick conclusion, I got to get some sowing going. How true. Get you some sowing going. And remember, you've got plenty of time.
As a bookstore for truth seekers, it's our goal to make ancient manuscripts which were once held captive by secretive institutions available for public consideration. In our generation, where wisdom has increased as Daniel the prophet foretold, we have access to many of the testimonies our early church brethren were persecuted for preserving. After being hidden for centuries, these manuscripts have been leaked from various sources throughout the earth, and it's our goal to gather these sources into printable form to make available for all who seek the ancient way. If you're looking to deepen your studies of the biblical narrative, find these ancient manuscripts and more at sacredwordpublishing.com. Your partnership with Sacred Word Publishing goes further than the publishing of ancient manuscripts and weekly video content.
You also make a huge impact across the earth in orphanages in Myanmar, India, Uganda, and Kenya.
Your support is crucial for the development of the ecclesia of real truth seekers.
We thank you for joining us in hosting Secrets Revealed, Momentary Zen, the Digital Readers Club, Ask Me Anything series, and other shows that have helped lead so many to the truth of salvation.
To become even more involved, please visit patreon.com/sacredwordpublishing, where you can partake in exclusive, interactive, patron-only content and help us continue shining the light of love in this darkened world.
They believe that they sight beyond God, so that maybe with time we'll do right and evolve and eventually reach what they seek and then solve all the problems of man, but they really don't know that the works of our hands are but just filthy bricks. We travel the lands and think about this time my lapses and within are much of the facts of imagine that God's keeping ignorance.
And standing behind the tree was one who had the aspect of a serpent, having hands and feet like those of a man, and wings on its shoulders, 6 pairs of wings, so that there were 6 wings on the right and 6 on the left. And so the serpent, it was a dragon, a feathered serpent, a plumed serpent, and that's exactly what we see in regard to the phoenix, which was an ancient symbol that was also shown to be an eagle in modern times. But please continue, Tim.
Oh man, I mean, you're right on. We are looking, folks, at an ancient aim. This isn't new. None of this is new. And again,
Right.
Ezra nailed this. But what we're seeing today actually goes way back to thousands of years ago. The real battle physically. Yes, we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with powers, principalities, of darkness. Yes, indeed. However, they have men that they use. They have Nephilim that they use. And the Nephilim ideology is prevalent around the whole world today. When you look at the beast system, it will have a Nephilim religion and ideology. And that's why it has to do some of the things that it does. Now, let's go to the final empire here. And we're going to end this segment with hopefully completing this. But I have just a quick video, a couple of minutes, and I have it marked on the screen. So hopefully this will work, Zen. Let me give this a try. Here we go.
Okay, sounds good.
A new era has begun. Mankind has allowed a power it does not perceive nor understand to rise. It seems hidden, yet it now permeates our homes, our way of life, in just about every way. An intrusion unthinkable, yet a reality now known. In response to what was billed as crisis of epic proportion, a power arises packaged as the solution. A total violator of human rights embraced as a welcomed ally. History chronicles an enigma in plain sight, yet unknown to so many. There once was an emperor who called himself God. His title continued as he then took the place of God on earth. Yet he never could, and he never will. A political power, yet a religious icon, all in one. This power claims much and produces nothing but the same fruits of the prince demon as the previous empires. For Ezra tells us this power was and was not, and so does Revelation. Ezra says he sleeps and hides his power to the very end. That end is near. This power will reveal itself very soon, but we won't wait for that, for he will be revealed now. The third and final head of the Eagle Empire rises.
Okay, so really these two go kind of together, because what happens is an infiltration of America that happened even early on that many don't really pay attention to. Not only were the founding fathers Freemasons and already occultists who already believed it was the new Atlantis and pretty much treated it that way. I mean, yeah, they wrote the Declaration of Independence, which is actually, as it stands, if it wasn't meant to evolve and change, which it is because it's a Pharisee document, really. But as it stands, if it was applied in the way it was written, it actually sounds pretty good. However, it doesn't, and it's been trampled in time. And there's a reason for that. America's been infiltrated from the start. Now, the founding fathers knew this, and they tell us so. For instance, this is the infiltration of America according to John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. They wrote letters back and forth. This is Adams to Jefferson, 1816. 1816. I do not like the late resurrection of the Jesuits. They have a general now in Russia. Russia. Wow. Okay. What's that about? Well, communism will be established. And again, that's very much Jesuit. It is was established by who? Karl Marx, Moses Mordecai Levy, the son of a rabbi. Yeah, same construct. So now in Russia, in correspondence with the Jesuits in the U.S., so they're in league worldwide, really, who are more numerous than everybody knows because they're infiltrators. See, shall we not have swarms of them here? Oh, wow. John Adams' prophecy will come true. If ever any congregation of men could merit eternal perdition in hell and on earth and in hell, woo, ouch, it is the company of Loyola. Ignatius Loyola is the founder of the Jesuits, and he was a Jew. He was a Marrano Jew. He was a Basque, and he was a Kabbalist. He wasn't actually Catholic, even though he called himself Catholic and operated within the church and was given power. That was a Jewish cult, an order of Kabbalists. Our system, however, of religious liberty must afford them asylum, so we have to let them in. But if they do not put the purity of our elections, wait a minute, this is 1816, to a severe trial, it will be a wonder. Wow. These guys knew exactly who the enemy was.
Right. And how much power they had.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Jefferson answers, I dislike with you their restoration because it marks a retrograde, a moving backwards, a backward step from light toward darkness. Wow. That's what they thought of him. Then Adams says to Jefferson, this society has been a greater calamity to mankind than the French Revolution or Napoleon's despotism or ideology. It has obstructed the progress of reformation and the improvement of the human mind in society much longer and more fatally. Oh, ouch. The founding fathers already knew the enemy was within.
Right.
Very early on. And yeah, they were trying to bring their bank in. You know, you'll see stories about how, you know, one president said, I killed the bank, right? Jackson.
Andrew.
Yeah. And so he's famous for killing the bank, stopping what would become the Federal Reserve, a federal bank coming in and taking power. However, that happened in 1913. Oh, wait, 1914, what a banner year for Satanism. 1914 was the beginning of the First World War. Funded by that same Federal Reserve that was founded just the end of the previous year. Voted in over Christmas break illegally, and it shouldn't even exist. Yet no president really talks about that. Even Trump. They don't talk about the Federal Reserve. They dare not, or they'd go the way of Kennedy. Kennedy was assassinated by them, likely.
Yeah.
So when you look at the actual infiltration that even happened after their days, very shortly after, they already saw it coming in. You actually see a Jesuit migration into the United States from all over, especially Europe, just flooding into the country from the 1820s to the 1880s. And this all led to, of course, the Federal Reserve and many of the things that we see in government today. So go back to 2nd Esdras 12, 39, and 40. Are you not in that remains of the four beasts? Now, this is Yahushua speaking now to the final eagle empire, the very last one that he's about to consume, in fact, whom I made to reign in my world. So I allowed you to rule, right? He says that, and we know that the end of their times might come through them. So this to the end of times. The day of judgment will be the destruction of this final world power that's rising right now that is eating the United States. The United States will still exist, but it won't be a superpower. At least not of its own. It will be used by the other. By the way, that third power, I talked about the two that are independent in the world. The third power is the Vatican City.
Yes.
It doesn't answer to any other government on all of earth. And that is the construct of the final eagle head. It is there that the Jesuits rule. Oh, what's the Pope now? He's the first Jesuit Pope. So the Jesuits have the white Pope and the black Pope. But it is said that the black Pope has always really ruled since the Jesuit order took charge.
Right. Do you see the London being the financial arm and Washington being the military arm, and then the Vatican being the the religious. Yes. Do you see them kind of like the mystery Babylon that is spoken about and described as the power that's with the beast and that system that you're speaking about?
Yeah. Actually, no. The way I view Mystery Babylon, and I'll just go there just real quick because I
Sure.
want to mention
You were
that.
finished.
Oh, here we go. So, all right. So we know the Pharisees, we've already connected, are the synagogue of Satan. Yahushua said so. And that today is rabbinic Judaism, according to the Jewish Encyclopedia, which we
Yes.
covered many times on our channel. That's what
Right.
they say. Now, most Jews, they're just as deceived as we are. This isn't about a race thing, and it's certainly not about anti-Semitism, especially
Right.
since it should be Shemitism. They should be from Shem, and they're actually calling themselves Ashkenazi Jews, which is from Japheth. They're not from Shem, so they
Mhm.
can't even claim anti-Semitism. But anyway, regardless,
Right. Yes.
the final world capital will be in Jerusalem.
Yes.
It'll be set up in Jerusalem. We already know the beast rules there, but this
Mhm.
is also where the harlot of Babylon operates. In Revelation 11, Jerusalem is called spiritual Sodom and Egypt.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and this is what we miss today. A lot of people are, yeah, we must protect modern Israel, modern Israel. That's
Right.
Gog of Magog today. That is
Yes.
not the biblical people of Israel. And
Okay.
it refers to that great city here in this passage. And that great city is the same where the harlot of Babylon operates. So Babylon the Great, and we have a whole video on this, I think 2 videos actually, that really prove that out. Babylon the Great is Jerusalem. And it
Aha.
will be the final world capital.
Yeah. I can see, and how that, because that to me it would be the extension, because I know that the world government is what is going to set up the base there, and that's when the Antichrist is also in their hopes brought to light and brought to public scrutiny and view, and everybody forced to take the mark and to give their allegiance, and
That's right.
so that's what seems to be where we're
Let
moving
me,
toward.
let me break something down just really quick. Our interpretation of the beast, right? He's
Mhm.
said to have a body like unto a leopard, and that body is Germany.
Mhm.
How do I know that? I'll show you in a second. The feet of the bear, Russia. Well, Russia's been the bear forever. I mean, that's so well
Right.
documented.
Yeah.
And the mouth of a lion is Britain. So what brings together Germany, Russia, and Britain? For the final construct. Well, Germany's very well known for their leopard tanks, but they also use the leopard in their crests of several families there. So they have that
Right.
identification. That's not new. Karl Marx came from Germany and migrated to London, to England, to the Great Head. Wow. And what did he come up with? Well, he came up with the idea of communism, right? Their preferred form of government. And he even projected that Russia would be the best place to launch it. Well, wait a minute. Germany, Britain, and Russia all come together in communism.
Mm-hmm.
The Russian bear, the British lion, well known. I don't think I need to go there for everybody. So here's the way we see it. Okay, so when you look at this construct, here we go, back to here. Okay, so it has the body of a leopard because that's where it all started, right? It all started in Germany, World War I, World War II, right? But also, and that's when it was really rising, right? But bigger than that, and much, much bigger, Karl Marx, a Kabbalist Jew, son of a rabbi, founded the doctrine, basically, of the beast, called communism.
Right.
He did it there. He then took it to Britain, where Britain became the mouthpiece for communism, socialism, Nazism, all of those things. And believe it or not, the royals in Britain were actually Nazis at one time, and had announced that, right? And so that's, there's a whole lot of controversy over that kind of stuff, but it did happen. And then that mouth of the lion and first eagle head will fund through the Rothschilds and their banking system, and in conjunction with the second eagle head, America, Wall Street, Jacob Schiff funded the Bolshevik Revolution.
Right.
The feet of the bear, where it will be installed. See? So it will move, it'll have feet, and it will go into Russia. And from there, it will infect the world. It infects China next. We see China in prophecy, and I won't go there today, but we do. We have videos on Revelation 12 that will blow your mind. But anyway, so this is what we see as the final construct. It is not one government. A lot of people say, well, what country is going to be the final? No. This is a one world government, just as predicted in Revelation. Yes. And it will infuse itself with religion. And, the base of it will be Catholicism and Judaism all wrapped up in one, because they are wrapped up in one.
Right.
That's what we see.
Yes, synagogue of Satan.
You got it.
Absolutely. Well, we've got just about 9 minutes remaining, Tim. So I want to, if you would, please give out your social media contacts, and then, anything for final comment, final teaching.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, our platforms, we're on YouTube, The God Culture, Instagram, Rumble, Odyssey, TikTok, in video form. We have podcasts on our website, thegodculture.com/podcast. You can go and watch it there, or watch it on any pod server pretty much. For Facebook, we have The God Culture _space original, because Facebook shut down our first page, of course. And then we have alternatives to Facebook, Gab, and Parler. All these are found in each video, the links, and on our website. You can just click on any of these things. Main website, thegodculture.com. Books are available. Our book-selling website is ophirinstitute.com. Again, 10 books available internationally. Just go to ophirinstitute.com, and you can get them Amazon International or Shopee in the Philippines.
All right, excellent. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to bring all these incredible teachings to us, and I'm sure it's a lot of new information for a lot of people, but you definitely have nailed it and have unraveled as far as what Ezra has been bringing forth, and the prophecies contained in so many books, brother. So we, again, appreciate you, and you're taking the time to do this and join us. But 7 minutes remaining, so anything that you'd like to share, cover, or, final exclamation of hope. Yeah.
Let's always remember that even though these things must happen, just as Yahushua said in Matthew 24, when he tells us about all of these terrible things that are going to happen, yes, they are. And he said they must happen. They have to. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay. I'm here. I'm still with you, right? I mean, we still have him. And, there are people in the remnant who survive all the way to the day of judgment. Some will be killed. Yes, that is truth. However, that's all temporary. The reality is we live for basically what happens on the day of judgment. We live for an eternal future. We set up our treasures in heaven. We don't set up our treasures on earth. It doesn't matter how much income we have, how many assets we have. None of that matters. All that matters is the treasures that we lay up in heaven, which are truth, which are real. And there's no getting around it. And Satan can't touch them, and he can't take them away in any age. And the good news is, Yahushua comes on the scene at the end, and he consumes this final empire who thinks it's so powerful, like that, without labor, second Esdras says, with a flaming sword from his mouth. And what is that fire, second Esdras says? His law.
Amen.
So he is going to win, and ultimately we get to win. And the most important thing is that we are in relationship with him. Salvation is not just saying a prayer, and anyone that tells you that hasn't really read Messiah's definition of salvation, because he's the one that defined it. He's the Savior. In John 15 and in Matthew 7. We are to enter a true relationship with him, and that's what this truth seeking is all about. You know,
Man.
what are we doing? We're seeking him, seeking first
Right.
his kingdom. Seek and ye shall find, right? Knock and it shall be opened.
Right.
Someone said early in comments before the show even started, you know, there's so much out there, and sometimes it's really hard to decipher it all, and I get that. Believe me, I
Yeah.
get. And shoot, I mean, Zen, I'm sure you and I don't agree on everything either, and that's okay. It's
Right.
it's healthy that we're all seeking the truth and we're trying to
Right.
learn. In our case, what we try to do, and I can't say we do it perfectly. What we try to do is we try to vet these things and research them to such a degree that we nail them down. Is it still perfect? No, I mean, we're just men, right? But we're doing our best.
Absolutely.
And you know, so, and that's all we can all do.
Right. And, for myself, I I don't know anybody that agrees with everything I teach. And it's healthy to, because I learn from you, brother. I learn from the people in the chat, the people that share with us. I'm learning from everybody. I'm a student in the same way that everybody is a seeker of lost paradise. And so I appreciate that you are willing to come on to have discussions, to share what you've learned, to go through it chapter by chapter, verse by verse. So I greatly respect and honor you in that way for your research and for your willingness to share it in the way that you do.
And we all
and I'm sure
that's on. We do.
you take a lot of flack as well for what you teach.
No.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. 3 minutes, brother. So final comment.
It all comes with the territory, but it's for all of us. I know, look, guys, as you espouse some of these things, you're going to share them with friends, and they're going to do the same to you that some people do to us. And
Right.
you know what? So what? It's all temporary. None of that matters. What matters is that we're continuing in relationship with him. We challenge our viewers to prove all things, even what we teach.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take anything at face value. Prove it all out and find the truth, because the truth is out there. Some people doubt scripture today because they're like, oh, the King James even has been manipulated. Yes, it has. There's no doubt about that. The name of God was replaced 6,000 plus times. That's a pretty serious change. However, we have the tools today, better than ever before, to bring these things together and even understand the Hebrew and the Greek. And you don't have to be a scholar to do it. You can do this yourself, and you can do it with sources like Zen, like us. I mean, we're all just trying to get to the truth. Amen.
Absolutely. The truth will set you free.
You got it.
And we know that Yahushua is the way and the truth, the life and the light. And we know that salvation is through him. So for that, we are eternally grateful.
Yes.
Yes. All right, brother. We appreciate you so very much, and looking forward to the next portion of the series and anything else that you'd like to share and teach. I think you're a masterful researcher, brother, and we appreciate you sharing your lessons with us, and look forward to the next time.
I do have help. I don't do it all on my own, but
how could you not with all that you do? Oh my gosh.
It's overwhelming to even keep up with it all. But, I can't tell you how much we appreciate, we have so many viewers who've been with us even since the very beginning. Some are Catholics that are following our channel still, every video, and we definitely ain't Catholic. Of course, they're usually not Catholic anymore, but they've awakened. And they've been following this stream, and they're testing and they're proving all the way. And that is really, of all things, that just makes me cry. I mean, just watching people grow and mature in ways that even, when I was in the ministry, in the regular mainstream church, I never saw. Not like this. This is precious. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. The seeker of lost paradise may seem a fool to those that have never sought the other worlds.
Yes.
Be blessed all. Good
all
night
right.
and shalom.
Thank you, Zach.
Good night, brother. Be blessed all. Good night.
You too.
Thank you everybody for joining us for this video and this broadcast. We appreciate all of you and thank you for your patronage. Please do like and subscribe and share with your friends. God bless all of you in your seeking.